Hi everyone, good afternoon. This is Enzo Aita from HyperGuest, and I'm very pleased to welcome my dear friends Christian Lepom from VerticalBooking, Gruppo Zucchetti, and Francesca De Bellini from Ticino Hotels Group. How are you guys? Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Hi.
Very good, very good. Thank you for the invitation for today.
Thank
Cool.
you so much indeed.
Thank you you guys for joining. And so just to quickly explain the audience, this is part of a series that regularly I'm planning every time we have a new partner, a new integration with HyperGuest. We did already one episode actually with VerticalBooking. That was last week, but it was in Italian, dedicated to the Italian market. We were speaking in Italian, as we are Italian. This time is in English. Of course, VerticalBooking is an international company. It's an part of a big enterprise, Zucchetti, and they provide solutions and services globally. So it was a very good occasion for me to have this double appointment with you guys, first in Italian, now in English. So that's great. I hope the audience will start to get to know more about VerticalBooking. And so let's make a quick introduction. Christian, share to the audience what you're doing, VerticalBooking, what's your mission, what's your vision, what are you going to plan this weekend maybe also?
Stay at home, I would say, for this weekend, since we are still kind of locked down. Now, yeah, thanks for giving us the opportunity to doing this event with you again for the international audit. Just a few words about myself. I'm the Chief Operating Officer in VerticalBooking. So I'm in charge of operations in the first place, so developments, strategic decisions, client services. At the same time, I'm still coordinating sales in certain markets, especially the French-speaking ones and the German-speaking ones. And in addition to that, Asia. And in addition to that, again, I'm also still account managing one of the key accounts that we have as VerticalBooking. Just to name one of them, it's the B&B Hotels Group. I've been working in hospitality for more than 20 years. I know I look like 25, but I didn't start at 5. So no, apart from joking, I started in my early years as a receptionist in a hotel, and from then I've always been working in hospitality. The most relevant experiences have been in more than 12, 13 years ago. I don't even remember how many years. In a GDS representation company based in the UK as account manager for the Italian customers. I have then been working for 5 years in a local Italian hotel chain as the director of revenue and distribution. And I was a VerticalBooking customer actually before joining VerticalBooking 6 years ago. In the beginning, for the first 3 years, I was key account manager for the main accounts in terms of chains, groups internationally and certain partners. And with a change of the acquisition by Zucchetti, I was appointed Chief Operating Officer in June 2018. So we are nearly 3 years in this position.
Wow, that's great. You had something in common with me, Christian. You know, I started my career also as a receptionist, but I was in the hotel, so in the other part of the barrier, only for a couple of years. So I then recognized that my role was to go away from limited places, having more space and travel for business. And I immediately joined, the technology side and consultancy and so on. So good to know.
If I can say, even if you do consultancy, you work in a technology company. One thing is technology, but in the end, the service you deliver that to the hotels. So people that are operational. So having the knowledge, and apart from myself, we have other people inside the company coming from the same experience, even if it's only a couple of years. If you have been working even for a year in a hotel, you know what the operations is, what it means to do a check-in, to get the reservation delivered, to have the correct information.
Definitely.
You don't understand the whole picture, but you perfectly know you would like to have and what you would need to have. So that's, I think, an important experience that technology companies should have inside their organization to deliver better service.
I totally agree with you. Sometimes there is a big gap between the reality in the hotel, and sometimes on the other side, from technology, travel tech, So sometimes we go to, fast in a way that we're expecting, getting the same level of progress and evolution. But sometimes we don't understand the reality in the hotel is totally different, especially for independent property. So let's see how it's going now today. And we have also Francesca De Bellini. She's director of revenue of a very cool group in Italy, Ticino Hotels.
Ticino.
Yeah,
We still speak Italian, but actually Switzerland.
We have made it.
So, Francesca, share about yourself, and I'll share something also about your group. Let's look where is it located initially.
Yes. Well, I've been working for Ticino Hotels Group since 2018. And before that, unlike you that you only worked 2 years as a front office, I worked for more than 10 years as a front office agent, as a guest relation manager, room division manager. So I've seen a lot of things operationally speaking. And I think that was the key. That was the key for the revenue and the implementation of all the revenue management in my company. And I started in 2018 exactly here. This is the Italian side of Switzerland, very close to Como. I know that many people knows Como, so it's much easier. We have 4 properties located over there, all of them overlooking the view, the lake view. We have 4 hotels which are completely different from the other. Now we are seeing the Curhaus Cademario, which is a wellness hotel specialized in the balancing the energy discovery. You have to find your balance, and especially we have more than 2,000 square meters of spa. So our target is especially leisure for all the ages, starting from 20 years old to up to 80 years old. And then we have the Villa Principe Leopoldo. This is a 5-star hotel, Relais Chateau. And actually, 1 month ago, we gained the Michelin star. So our restaurant is also one Michelin star restaurant. Yes, so it was a great achievement for us, and we were so happy and grateful for this. And next to it, there is the residence, we call it, but it's Park Hotel Principe, which is an amazing 4-star hotel surrounded by an amazing park. It's very, very quiet, very few rooms, only 40 rooms, and but it's very close also to the city center. It has all the needs for the guests, either leisure during summer with a pool or during the rest of the year for the business market. And since it has the parking place, which is free of charge, which is something that you say, why free of charge? Well, in Switzerland, everything is on payment, and also parking place are payment, and this one has parking place for free and great rooms, big rooms, and amazing for the business. Instead, last but not least, there's the Villa Sassa, where we have more than 130 rooms divided into normal hotel rooms. We have a residence. We have people who actually live there and they have permanently lived there. So we have Congress Center. We have an amazing fitness center, which is the biggest of all Ticino, as you can see. And so we have a so different target and leisure, business, corporate, mice. We have everyone, people who want to live there. Yeah, this is the Terrace of Wonders, where we had many, many weddings as well. So it's the perfect location because you're just one step far from the city center of Lugano, 10 minutes walking from the train station. And so we have everything that the guests might need. small meeting rooms, bigger ones, events, everything that they're looking for, we have it. And so
It's amazing, your group. I think I want to go back to work in the reception in your hotel. Christian, should we apply? Do you have some opening job, Francesca, in your hotel?
do you speak German?
Can see.
I do.
I know that you.
You know what? Italian can talk in any language. We can understand everyone, so we are able to talk to everyone in any language. You know, we body language, something like. You know.
No, I'm joking, but I'm not joking. 98% of our guests, especially this year, are coming from the internal part of Switzerland, especially from the German side. And I don't know if you are aware of it, but Swiss people from the German side, they don't speak German like the one that you speak in Germany. They speak Schweizerdeutsch, which is another completely language. So if you don't speak German, you will not understand anything. Not even if you use your just time as well. So you use your hands.
I'm gonna wash the dish, no problem. I'm going to wash the dish and the glasses, whatever you have.
Okay, fair enough.
I'm gonna make like
just to tell you, even if you speak German like a German, you don't understand those people anyway. So you speak it, you don't speak it. It's the same. Either you speak Schweizerdeutsch or you don't.
But eventually you find a compromise. I mean, all Swiss people that speak Schweizerdeutsch, they speak as well German. So
at least you understand. Then if I understand them, that's another point. But they understand me.
But
right, nice. So let's do this. So let's go back to the agenda. I want to talk to you guys about your properties. Really are amazing. So make sure that, guys, if anyone is following, get in touch with Francesca. I'm sure she will provide a little discount because you've been watching the live streaming. Get in touch with Francesca directly on LinkedIn in case, all right? And any question, generally speaking, just post those questions here on LinkedIn or YouTube, on Facebook, wherever you are following the live. And I will turn those questions to Francesca or Christian in case. And so let's start at this point. Christian, I know that you have some interesting. So let me explain a little bit. The first part of this session, we will focus a little bit on some interesting data and trends prepared by VerticalBooking around few destinations in Europe and something also in the Asian market. And after that, I will, me and Christian, we will make some kind of elevator pitch to present VerticalBooking, and in a way, I will share with you some update about HyperGuest. I just want to remind you that this episode is here today because HyperGuest and VerticalBooking, they are integrated now, so any hotels using VerticalBooking system will be able to add on its distribution channel list also HyperGuest from now. So let's start. I would say, Christian, you can share the slide and we'll start the conversation.
Okay, thank you, Enzo. Let me share my screen.
Here we are.
Okay, here we are. Okay, so that is us. So that's a slide saying something and saying not that much, but I really much like to show that. That's a global, it's based on a global number of transactions that are generated on the VerticalBooking platform, apart from the total amount. You can see how it has been evolving over the years. So the orange one, obviously you understand that that's last year, where end of February, everything dropped completely down. You're seeing things go up for the summer season and then keeping slow. And the blue one, that's this year. So although we are in kind of a very difficult situation, we have seen things going up, and obviously when you look at the top, we are talking about, let's say, 100% of the top we have ever had. We are now between 50-60% of transactions per week. In this case, we are looking at a week.
Sorry, Can you explain the difference between each color? Because I've seen below you have some legenda, but it's
so the blue one is it's the total transactions that are generated on a vertical booking platform from all channels and all properties by week. So the blue one is 2021, the orange one is 2020, the green one is 2019, and the yellow one is 2018. So you have the comparison between the years, you have the trend over the years, and between 2018, 2019, you see some little differences, but the graphic is going more or less in the same way. And then you have 2020 with the COVID, where everything is going down to something like 10% of the transaction we would be having in normal times. Then it goes up in the summer and then slowly back down. If you look at the blue one, which is 2021, you see that's already higher than the end of last year. So currently we are about 50-60% of transactions that we would have in the year before COVID. Obviously, it's a very generic data because it's considering every transaction going through vertical booking in whatever part of the world we are. Obviously, main part of our customers are in Europe, so it's a European centric vision in this case. When we come to the examples that I will bring later, you will see some differences between the continents. But I think this picture gives you an idea of how probably, especially in Europe, things have been going. So going up for the leisure season last year, then with the business still suffering, and this year being kind of higher than we may have expected when the November lockdown started. Then going to the next slide, and that's part of the things that I would like to talk with you guys as well. The points of data and which data. So I call that from historical data to demand data, because obviously now it seems to be a very obvious thing. We can't look at the historical data compared to last year, 2 years ago. So it has kind of completely changed. We have to look more at the demand than at the historical data. But to be very honest, I think that the COVID has brought that out to everyone and made aware everyone. But it was already a kind of matter of fact before. And I remember when I've been working in the hotels, and that was more than 6 years ago, the historical data was, yes, part of my considerations, but the aspects that you have to consider, and as I said, even before COVID, it's not just the historical data. There are so many things that can change the let's say the demand, and then the bookings that you get in, that you can't just look at the historical data. A few examples in the early, I think it was 2011, 2012, where I was working, we had the strong part of customers from Russia. When the Russian currency lost, I think, 50% in only 6 months, we saw the results the next year, because obviously Italy became at a certain point too expensive for a big part of these guests, and that's nothing you can do with historical data. That's something that in a certain way you have to understand and to consider. Obviously, then if you look at the demand data when the year starts, you can see that, but it would even be better to anticipate that. And there you have to be very aware of what's happened. And another thing, the weather forecast is now part of certain revenue management systems, stuff like that. But I was saying sometimes what matters, it's not only the weather in the place where you are. I was working in near Rimini. So most of the customers we had were coming from Milan and the Lombardy area. But what mattered was not really the weather we had in Rimini. It was the weather in Milan. So when it was raining or it was cold on Monday, Tuesdays, Wednesdays in Milan, no one would ever call to book a weekend at the sea at the beach for the weekend. They only started doing that when it got really warm or hot in Milan. So that's another thing that, yeah, you can look at the weather forecast in your location, but in this case, you should have also been looking at the weather that you would have been having in Milan. That to say that the fact that the historical data is only a small part of what you should consider when you do your revenue or when you do your forecast and when you plan your rate strategy. It started well before COVID. Now everyone knows, but it started before. And the second point that we will never go back to the point where the historical data can be the biggest part. We will always have in the future have to be looking at demand data. And here I mentioned the Zucchetti projects. What we have been doing, and that we started doing that before COVID. We said this is what we need to do better, and where we need to help the properties in getting this data. This is a project which is ongoing, which is not yet ready to be fully released and made available to the properties. But the idea behind is that we will have to look at the demand. So we are aggregating the data that we have across the companies that are part of the Zucchetti group, which are 3 CRS companies, several PMS companies, RMS companies. So to have the biggest data and the most data possible to know what is the demand on the single location. And this approach, as I said, we started doing that before the COVID crisis started. One of our companies, and I have to name them here in this case, is the Libertech RMS. They started to have this approach right before COVID and against all what was the standard, let's say, calculation of the RMS. And that's a great advantage and a great help to the hotels. Then you can integrate data about the flights and stuff like that. But that's something we are at a good point where soon we will be able to make certain data available to the hotels with obviously with the goal to tell them, okay, this is demand in this period, whatever happened in the past, this is what is happening now. Which are the most requested dates? Which are the most requested length of stays? Which are the most requested occupancies? And if you know that in real time, you can adjust your strategy. You can react in real time. You can anticipate your competitors. So that's, I think.
Yeah. Let me just, sorry to interrupt you, just to understand, because this is something really was, a topic going on for many years. No, there are revenue managers sustaining that historical data, eliminating the problem of COVID and pandemic. So there were always this kind of fight between revenue managers. So where some revenue manager refer more to demand and some other to the historical data. So let me ask you, we have your revenue manager. So what's your approach from historical data versus demand data, Francesca?
Well, actually, I combine the two of them. I have a master degree in statistics, so I always check the historical data as a comparison to what we are having, and I always check the demand, how is powerful the demand in each day, in order to better make forecast, and I keep into consideration all the major aspects. Also the weather, actually, and as you were telling, Christian, we always check also the weather from the location that our guests are coming from, not only our own weather. Even though we have, I consider one of my property, which is totally pointless to check the weather, because even though it's snowing, it's an amazing place to be, because you can live inside, which is Curauska de Mario, and the other, they live accordingly also to the weather. But going back to your question, I always compare my daily data, the present data, to the past, and this period, I'm actually considering the trims. So I'm comparing the data from this trim to the previous one, just to better check and how the situation is evolving. But
so this was well balanced before COVID, right? But what about now? I mean, if you look at historical data, does it help you right now?
just to make a comparison to how we are navigating in this sea. But I don't base my strategies on historical data. I base my strategy on what is the demand, how the revenue is going, how the reservations are improving, a pickup, and
Competitors, what are the relevance of the competition in your strategy?
well, this is another topic which is interesting actually, because we are considering always two kind of competitive sets. One of a product and one is a regional one. So we always try to since there are not so many hotels in our region, in our surroundings, we try to always to compare our prices, our product to the one that they can find in the surroundings areas. So regional speaking, and the other one we are taking into consideration the same kind of product. So we take also, for example,
Let's say.
places around Switzerland as well, Italy. So historically, geographically speaking, always around 200, 300 kilometers far from us, not farther. But I mean, we want to enlarge and make the two kind of comparison. So if we speak about the price, is one kind of competitive set, and if we're talking about product, it is another one. Obviously, for price strategies, I always check the regional part. So geographically speaking, the one in the Ticino area, in the area surrounding us, mostly. And but then we consider also other aspects, and so
it's very
there
hard
are
to
many
compete,
things to take into consideration. It's not just one thing that you see and you decide the strategy.
But after seeing your property, it's very hard to compete with your hotels. I think you are leading the destination, most probably, right?
Well, we are the only group in Ticino, actually. So we are leading on that kind of market. And if you think about, for example, I don't know, there are so many towns and cities around the world. They have many five-star hotel with amazing restaurants, Michelin star. In Lugano and the surroundings area, there are just five hotels with the 5 stars. And so there are not so many. There were very few. And last February and March, we were the only 5-star hotel open. The other decided to keep closed because they thought that the demand was so slow that it was not worth to keep them open. So we gained all the demand of them, and we had like 80-90% of occupancy.
Good for you, Francesca. All right, sorry to interrupt you before Christian. You can go ahead now.
No, thank you. I mean that was the intent of this event today, to have a conversation with people then that are operational on the ground, that see the situation. So thanks for that. Basically, that was the general idea about the data, how we have to look at them. Another couple of things, obviously, for the historical data. With the PMSs, you always have them, or you should have them. With the demand, obviously, it's not always obvious to get all to have all that data, because it's not really easy to get them. We, as a kind of aggregator, or as a company with so many companies working in the industry, we think that we can provide a good service in that sense to help our properties as well. And the last point, when I say look also at events, you can look at the demand of the things, but now, for example, in this situation with the COVID, you will probably also have to look at things that you can't really control, if you want to anticipate, you can't just look at demand or other things. For example, if the UK, if they get vaccinated much quicker than others, then probably they may be, let's say, the first ones that can travel. So you may be looking at the UK market and look if your products fit, or if you can do something that makes it fit better to attract those people that may be the first ones traveling. And the US, if I look, we will come to that later. In the US, they kind of don't care that much. I mean, they are or they are much quicker in vaccinations, but even without vaccinations, they never really had that drastic lockdown that we had here. So the people from the US, they are still looking, and we can see it from the demand that we have at traveling to Europe and other countries. So understanding that, seeing what's happening there even before you have the demand data, may give you the possibility to act before others do.
All right.
Then coming to the next, talking about Switzerland. It's this is the data that we have taken from the hundreds of properties that we have, a few hundreds of properties, so know how much the findings. So basically 80% of the demand that we have seen in the first basically the first 3 months, from the 1st of January until last week, so it's a little bit more than the first 3 months. It's 80% domestic, only 5% from Germany, which is probably not that much. And the US, it's lower on independent properties compared to brands or chains, where it goes up to 10%. The booking window is quite short, so from 0 to 3 days in advance is 22%, 19% from 4 to 7, 25 from 8 to 14. These makes it 67% with a booking window less than 2 weeks, and only 10% is for let's say long term, over 30 days. In terms of length of stay, it's the same scenario if we wish. So short booking window, short stays, 42% for 1 night, 25 for 2 nights, and 14% for 3 nights, which make us more than 80% for that very short stays, and only less than 10% is over the 5 nights. And here, what's interesting to ask Francesca what she has been seeing on her properties, if that's reflected.
Well, actually, it kind of reflects, but actually our figures are a little bit, I would say, better. I mean that since the 10-15 of May of 2020, the market, the touristic market in Switzerland started again. It was like a bomb that exploded, because all people that used to book before, like in March and April, they hadn't booked, and they started booking like from the middle of May, and they haven't stopped yet. Actually, we have currently 90-95% of domestic market, so Swiss people, 90-95%. The remaining, well, we had some German people during the summer and some French, but not so many as the past year. Short booking window, well, this I don't know, because our booking window is a little bit higher, but it depends on the market actually, because it's a business or a corporate guest, it's like 0-3 days, but if it is a leisure one, it can be up to 90 days, 60 days. And actually, length of stay is totally opposite in our place, because we had an increase of length of stay for all the properties actually. Last year, I mean, before COVID, it was around 1.9, and after COVID, it was like 2.80. So we had an increase of the length of stay, which was impressive actually. But we had some thoughts about this increase in the length of stay.
You know what I was thinking, Francesca?
Yeah.
So normally before COVID, I remember there was this, historical sentence or payoff that many hotels were claiming, something like, "Come to our hotel and feel like at home." Right? You remember?
And
Now this is quite common. Now I think no one want to go in a hotel and feel like at home after 2 years of lockdown.
no, that's the
That's why
thing.
people want to stay longer, maybe.
That's the thing, that they had to stay at home for so long. Well, actually in Switzerland the situation is kind of is different from the rest of Europe and the world, because the Confederation never obliged the people to get inside. They never made a total lockdown. They never said don't go anywhere, stay at home. They say it would be better if you don't.
Sure.
That was the only thing. And but for example, Easter 2020, where in Italy we were totally locked down, everywhere in the world it was all closed down. In Ticino, where there were still some hotels open, and there were some guests who were traveling also for Easter. They said that they didn't forbid us to go anywhere. So obviously it was much, much less than the normal Easter time in Ticino. Also because Ticino is the holiday region of Switzerland, with all the lakes, the trains,
Sure.
and all the things to see. It's one of the most beautiful places. It's like Italy, but you're in Switzerland because you're very close. They speak Italian. You have many, many things. So these people that were not able to travel to Italy or to Spain or to the other places that they love so much, and they were kind of recommended to stay within the Swiss border, they overflow. Everyone overflow to Ticino, especially in the northern part of the Lake Maggiore area, which is the most beautiful ever. I mean, it's an amazing place, and unfortunately, we don't have an hotel there yet. But and then they came to Lugano. So the situation was very different from the other places in the world, in Italy, in Europe, or in the US. And we had an increase in occupancy. We had an increase in length of stay. I heightened also the prices as much as I could, and people were still coming, still buying higher prices. So I mean, I know that our situation is much, much different from the rest of the world. And sometimes I think I live in another world, actually. But we were very lucky also because Swiss people are big travelers and they want to explore the world, and they come to Ticino since the middle of May, and until also December, we never had like a drop in the occupancy and in demand. We had a little bit in January, and then February, March, and April, we are having 90-95% average of occupancy of our places and our hotels, which is something that we were not, we never forecasted, we never foresee it. It's a big surprise, a welcome surprise, and so we are facing every day, every week. We are changing. We are adapting to the demand. And what I saw, also thanks to VerticalBooking, which is my channel manager, and I always use it every day, was I mix a lot of statistics, and the thing that was very interesting in this period was that all the guests were buying flexible rates. Flexible was the key word for everyone. Of course, because you needed to be flexible to book your holiday. So prepaid rates were completely forgotten, completely. The previous year they had 20%. I had 20% of the rates that they were selling that were prepaid. The COVID year, we call it like that, like 1%, and then it was before COVID. So totally forgot about prepaid rates, only flexible rates, packages, a lot of packages, a lot of experience. They want to live. They want to experience something new. They want to, because after that period that you were completely blocked, they want to be free. And that was the key for.
All right, let's go back to your slides.
May I ask just another question, and then I will go quicker to the others. It was really interesting here to see what we have global data for Switzerland, and the feedback from Francesca living on the ground. Obviously, our aggregated data, probably most properties regarding Switzerland and a German-speaking part. So for sure, it's not exactly the same thing. But about prices, because someone is saying, yeah, now people with the difficulties looking maybe more, not Switzerland, I don't know, to be honest, but looking at Germany, France, or Italy, they are saying, okay, the people they have been haven't been working for so much time, short working and whatever the formula in the countries is, so they don't have the money to spend. But I think after so much time that you haven't been able to travel something, you are disposed to spend even more than you would have done before. So that's what I was thinking. Is that something you see? I mean, you were saying people have bought lots of packages and stuff like that. I think that's confirming at a certain point, after a certain time, you couldn't travel, then you can, and you spend even more than you would have done before.
Well, this might be one of the reasons. The other thing that you have to keep into consideration is that Ticino part is the cheapest one of all Switzerland. And so prices are much, much lower than all the rest of Switzerland. So even though if I, raise the price a lot, like double them, it would not. No, well, if I double, maybe I reach the same price I find in regions such as Lucerne or Zurich or Geneva. But since our base price are much lower than the normal Swiss market, the people knows that here in our region there are affordable prices. Obviously, this year we had to increase the price because the demand was so high that we took, advantage of the situation, obviously. And on the other side, we saw people wanted to spend more days to leave the places, to leave the location. They wanted to leave the destination. So yes, people were so fed about all the situation that they invest much money last year and also this year for their holidays in Switzerland. I don't know if this trend will keep also for 2021, summer season. I hope so, obviously, but we will see. We always check, week by week. That's how we go. Every week I check how it goes, and we take a decision accordingly, week after week. But I think also for all the people that wanted to go abroad and they wanted to invest money in flight tickets and to rent, they had budget with the flight ticket, the rental car, then they had to move, then they had to pay for the. Instead, here you can reach us either by car or by train. It's much easier and affordable, and there are so many less costs to consider when you say Switzerland, and I think they feel safer than going abroad because you don't know what you're facing regarding also the health situation around the world. So, considering all these, issues, that's the outcome was good for us.
Okay, that's good to hear, right? So let's go to Switzerland.
It's a safer place in the world.
Okay, I'm quite close. You a little bit less, Enzo. Okay, then. Thank you, Francesca. I will go ahead then with the slides. Is that okay?
Yep. I just back to your slide again. Yep.
Okay, perfect. So then the second example, we have taken it from Northern and Central America. What's interesting here that it seems that as I probably mentioned before, it seems like the COVID has affected the Northern American markets much less than here in Europe, because I mean we know what the situation in the US has been and was last year. So certain states not caring at all, and comparing the demand in terms of numbers of requests that have been generated in the first 3 months of the year for the leisure properties were only minus 10% compared to 2019. The business is still at minus 45, but for the leisure part, I think that's for the properties over there. It's a really a great data to be only 10% behind 2019. Obviously, then coming to the nationalities, where the people are booking from. US is basically now 90%, was 75 years ago for both leisure and business. The main decrease that we have seen is from Canada, which was 2 years ago about 10% of the customers. Now it's down to something like 2%. So like Canada, as we often see in other situations, is behaving quite different from the US. In terms of turnover, so effective stays, we have seen on the leisure properties from September to February, September 2020, February 2021, it was between minus 30–40%, and now we are down to minus 50, minus 5% compared still to 2019. So then now in April, they are doing kind of the numbers they were doing a couple of years ago, which was kind of surprising, or for them amazing. For the business, the demand over the last couple of months has been growing, but still the turnover is down between 90 and 75%. So that's the situation that we have seen in the US and the Central American market. Any comments on that? Otherwise, go to the next.
Not really. Let's look at it.
Then for Italy, I mean, we have the Italian session. That is just a summary, since Italy is still part of the global world. So the domestic demand is obviously in the first place. The US has been, in terms of demand, at least quite high, especially in the major cities. I think we've been talking in certain areas about 40% demand from the US. So that means that the US, they are much more looking around and behaving like maybe before COVID. What has been, I mean, at least from my point of view, looking at the data, very significant is really Germany missing out everywhere, because German markets and certain areas are very important, but the demand from Germany is really kind of completely missing. So not even the perspective of getting something in the midterm. Then, as we said last week, so we have a short-term booking window for the cities, for midterm, for leisure. So lots of demand already for the summer season. And then the thing what we have to do is, as I said, waiting here. As I call it, waiting for the summer season. But here, coming also back on the prices, on the demand, I think the people, they are really just waiting to be able to travel. So even if now we don't see that much demand in certain periods, either the season starts and then people will travel, and as Francesca said, and for her part, people, they just are willing to travel. So at the end, once it's allowed, I think the demand will just go up. So that's the only question mark that we have. If nothing starts, then it's useless to think about what to do in a certain way. If it starts, I think then the demand will just be there, like we have seen kind of last year.
Christian, we got 15 more minutes.
I will make it very quick.
Sure.
So then just the last, this is just 1 minute about Southeast Asia. where we also have a significant number of properties. There, the situation is quite different from here because they don't have a domestic demand. I said weak domestic demand, but they don't have it. The borders are still closed, so inside certain countries like Thailand, Vietnam, and stuff like that, there's no way to get business because the domestic is not existing, and the international one is not allowed because the borders closed. So no inbound, no outbound. Means if you look at China, they may be traveling inside China, but they will not be coming over to the US or to Europe. So that part is missing. Actually, among our properties, we have more than 50% of properties that's still closed. And what they are hoping is to open for the next season will start in later autumn. So the recovery there will be much later than here because of the lack of having a domestic market, basically. That's just to give another example from another part of the world. So that was about the data part. Shall I go over to the product thing? I will make it very short as well. Okay. So just, I mean, vertical booking. I hope everyone knows vertical booking. The company was founded in 1999. Part of Zucchetti since 2018. We have a fully integrated CRS concept with a booking engine, channel and GDS connectivity, central reservation office, and additional modules. Currently, we have about 6,800 clients in about 100 countries. The headquarters are here in Bergamo, where I'm based, and we have some secondary offices for sales and client service in US, France, UK, Thailand. Zucchetti Group is the biggest software company in Italy, mainly working in HR, ERP, and recently in hospitality. And putting those together, we have in hospitality, we are the market leaders here in Italy with overall more than 35,000 hotel clients. We are part of the group CRSs, PMSs, RMSs. So there's a great synergy and great investments from the group into that market that we will see growing or be seeing growing over the next years, certainly as well. The vertical booking CRS offers as the main modules, booking engine, the channel manager, GDS connectivity, meta search connectivity, everything coming from the same engine, a central reservation office, service provider with the booking engine for only services or spa services, especially a rate checking tool, and a few apps to facilitate the operations of the system. About the platform, there are two main characteristics, if I can name them as such. It's a one single platform, and that makes a difference to other ones where you may have the traditional CRS connected to a booking engine one part, to the channel manager other, and the GDS on the third way. Here, everything is sitting in the same system, same platform, one database. It's one development team, one client service team. So everything is done in-house when it comes to developments. We are very quick in time to market because everyone it's sitting in the same system. Fully flexible. We meet the needs of corporate leisure clients, independent hotels, chains. There are a few examples of clients on the next slide. So from the single small leisure property up to the big corporate chain, the CRS meets the needs of all those kind of users, of clients. It's a modular use, so you can use in terms of modules whatever you need to, and in functions the same. So you don't have to use 100% of what is given by the system. You can choose between the things that you may most need. And just a few words, the flexibility is given by the way you can manage the rates, the discount, add-ons, corporate agreements, so everything that you can probably think of to be managed. Some names of notable clients. Just as the biggest examples, the B&B Hotels, which is a budget corporate chain mainly based in Europe with 550 hotels currently on our platform. VVF Village, it's a pure leisure chain with more than 90 properties in France. AM Resorts, it's 60 pure leisure luxury properties in the Caribbean with more than 22,000 units. Centrara, they're using our CRS for distribution. It's 50 properties, both leisure and business. So all these different realities, the CRS of vertical booking because of its flexibility. And another interesting, important thing is all these clients are using the CRS as a central place of rate management. So they are not managing rates in the PMS or somewhere else. They're really using the full flexibility of the platform of vertical booking for their rate management because of the flexibility that the CRS is giving. Then of course we have the Chino Hotels Group here with us, a few other groups models in the US, Lodging Hotels in Croatia, Planetary in Italy, and Cucci Terme, which are using mostly the spa booking engine part and the spa management system. An evolving platform, I've called it, because we have also always obviously been looking at involving the platform, talking to our customers to see what we can do, how we can do to improve functionalities and operations. So a few things, just name a few that we've been doing, is the refund voucher last year. So just to transform a cancelled booking, instead of refunding the money, to transform that automatically in a voucher that can be used at the terms and conditions at the properties decided. We have redesigned our extranet in order to make it more user-friendly. We have implemented a new all-in-one calendar. We can easily managing everything you need in terms of restrictions, availability, prices, derivation, derived prices, so everything in one easy usable calendar. New distribution opportunities, we have been connecting to 30 new channels over the last year. One of these, and an important one, obviously HyperGuest. I will talk about their own concept later. We have released a new multi-property front end for groups and chains in order to better manage the researches based on filters that are based on amenities, on the prices, on the stars, or whatever it is. And we will also come up with a new restyle website to make it more comprehensive, which will be coming out at the end of this month. And then I would also like the last slide, and so then I have finished. It's I call it the vertical booking network. Obviously, the channel manager part, technology part is one of the strongest parts of vertical booking. So here, new opportunities, but also partnerships. So we have a strong relationship with the biggest OTAs like Booking.com, Expedia, to and have implemented functionalities that usually available only on the OTA extranet, to bring that into the CRS to facilitate the use of the systems inside our CRS. We have done some cooperations with other, let's say, distributors or switch companies to reach other markets where not strong as we are in Europe. So giving the opportunity, especially for Asia, to reach certain channels and markets. System integrations, obviously being part of the big group, we've always been looking and having the best integrations between the platforms that are part of the group, but not also within the group, to make sure the customer has the best experience and the most automated flows between the system. And it's okay. The opportunities here are referring to what I said in the beginning, that project about using the demand data across the properties, being able with the same support and the same philosophy to offer a whole suite of services, which are not only the CRS in our case, but also the PMSs, including the integrations I've been talking before, RMSs, digital marketing opportunities for our properties, with always a central place of contract and a common philosophy about among the different companies that are part of our group.
Right. So many things, guys. So many things you're doing. So let me, at this point, ask a very few seconds, Francesca, for you. I know you are a customer of VerticalBooking, right? So
Yes.
share with us 3 reasons why hotels should work with VerticalBooking.
Well, first one, customer service. I'm not joking. Customer service, it's amazing. Flexibility and user friendly.
Fantastic. Right. So most of the cases, people want to always have, prompt reply from the support, making easy, using technology and make sure that it's stable and working properly. Right. So great answer. Thanks, Francesca. So I'll share my screen very quickly, guys. I've been presenting HyperGuest in different already live streaming, so I won't be too long. It's going to be very quick. Just want to share with you this particular functionality of HyperGuest. But just to recap for people who doesn't know who is HyperGuest, HyperGuest is a channel to sell rooms. Basically, it's a little bit kind of a B2B marketplace. It's free to access, so you pay just a commission if you sell a room. There's no setup or entry cost or annual fee, whatever. You just pay if you sell. The innovation here is that the hotel decide the rule of the game, so they implement and customize the strategy within our marketplace. What does it mean? So basically, first things, the hotel decide at which commission they want to sell. So they position the commission level here, could be 18 in this case, 10, 12, 15. That's really on your hand, hoteliers. And then here we are with all our segmentation, where behind each of the segment, we have all our travel demand partners that can easily book those hotels in our marketplace. We have this transaction, we have this direct connectivity, and again, the hotels can, customize and differentiate the way they want to distribute their rooms, which means that, for example, if they don't want to give to everyone the default commission, which was positioned here on top, and the number you see here is 18, you just click on the single segments. For example, I want to work differently with consortia. So you just get there, remove the full commission, and apply for different parameters. Or in case you don't want to work with this category, you just close that. Or you can differentiate the way you sell commission or net sale or gross rates. So depending on the way you prefer, you can differentiate this also by going on a specific partners. So imagine you want to give a little bit more incentive, a little bit more commission to a specific tour operator or a consortia or a travel agent. You select this travel provider and assign to this one the commission you want to give. Or in case you don't want to sell with gross rates, you want to sell with net rates, you can also differentiate this aspect. Or if you're, for example, you want to create a geo promo. So any travel demand based, I don't know, in Switzerland, they can get a better discount or a higher commission based on the policy of the hotel. So this way you can better target your hotel, you can better target your customers divided by geography. So not only by segments, so but also by geography. So that's the way we want to innovate the market, guys. We don't want any more, high commission distribution. We are very approaching the market like saying that we sustain, a very sustainable distribution, a very flexible way to sell and distribute rooms, completely different from any other business model around. And we are connected with tons of channel manager and PMSs. Of course, the one we're talking today is VerticalBooking. So what to say, guys? This is really something you should look at in your distribution mix in order to, redesign, implement, and improve the way you've been distributing so far. If you are interested, just get in touch with me easily through LinkedIn or send me an email to enzo.aita@hyperguest.com. I'm putting here my mail just to, make it easier for you. So at this point, I finished my pitch very quick, and let's go back with my friends. Thank you, Christian. Thank you, Francesca, for being part of this live today. I'm sure that we've been looking at interesting data, guys. If you want to know more about some trends, some specific destination, I really suggest to get in touch with Christian. And again, Christian, how people can get in touch with you? With LinkedIn and also via email, right?
Either by email or on LinkedIn, whatever is preferred. Yeah.
Perfect. I got one saying something from Mino. Yeah, because actually there was a question for you, Christian, and I didn't highlight the question just because we are at the end. But let's take this question from Larina. Do you offer services such as website for independent hotels?
Yes, we do. Inside the group, we have the specialists inside the group. So there's a few companies building websites which can perfectly be integrated with the VerticalBooking booking engine or systems, or with other solutions. And another thing that we have launched recently is because what we have said is that at a certain point when a demand is still quite low, obviously competition may quite high. So investing at a certain point in digital marketing in order to capture that lower demand among all the competitors that are out there can certainly be of help for the properties. So there is a Zucchetti offer for digital marketing campaigns that can be customized based on the customer. Is so just need to contact even our sales guys in VerticalBooking. Then it's a partner company in the group taking care of of managing the campaigns.
Cool. Right. Okay. Thanks, Francesca.
You're welcome. Thanks to you, Enzo, for the opportunity.
I wish to come and visit you really on one of your amazing hotels.
I think
you have my email address.
I think you will get a booking or a request before tonight.
Don't book on OTAs, please. I will make you a really good deal.
Book direct. You know what, Christian? I come to pick you up and in Bergamo, where you are sitting right now.
Yeah, you fly over to Bergamo. We take then my car and we go to that's a great idea.
That's the idea, man. That's the idea. Okay. Thank you, guys. Have a great evening. See you soon. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Yeah, we don't want